Hey guys, this is Statton. Welcome to another Heart to Heart with Statton. Before I begin today's subject, I would like to apologize for how choppy and jumpy the video clip is in today's episode. I don't know why. As I've mentioned in my Fishing Planet videos, for some reason my videos tend to skip in mid recording, and it seems to have gotten somewhat worse over time. I'm gonna try to find a way to fix that. So if you could all just bear with me on that, I promise you I am working on it. Anyways, the subject I have on my mind today is kind of mixed between two different types of people I know. Both are good. I've made quite a few friends in my life, and I've seen a lot of growth. I hope I've been growing as well. But the one thing I've noticed between some of them and others are some of them are not happy with their current situation in life. They do not like their job. They are not happy with how things are. But they don't feel like they have the power to change it at all. I've, based on my goals and everything that I'm trying to accomplish, I'm trying to follow my passions, the things I love doing. And what's more, I'm actually trying to make a career out of some of these things. Like, if you are familiar with my any of my heart to heart videos that come before this one, you'll notice in one of them I talked about how I like ballroom dancing and have done it since high school. That's actually one of the things that I hope to become someday. It's one of my last goals because I've got multiple goals. And I also know that I can't accomplish all my goals at the same exact time. So it's got to be a step by step thing. Another thing I like to do is write stories, write books. I want to become an author someday. So I think that should be probably one of my first goals, I think. Now, I've got other goals that I'd like to accomplish. I'm not going to list them all off right now, but my point is every goal I have a true passion for. They involve me doing things that I actually love doing. Now, whenever I bring this up to them, I say I don't necessarily bring up my goals to them, but I do tell them I have goals and that they are based on what I love to do. And I strongly recommend that anyone who isn't happy with their situation ought to follow their passions, ought to do the things that they love doing and see if they can make a career out of it. The problem is there are people I've. This is where the people I know start to become divided into two. There are those who actually do set out to do the things that they want to do, and they are accomplishing it. They haven't reached the finish line. In fact, some of these goals are very long term to the point where even when you start to profit off of them, you start uh, making it the way you want to. In the end, the finish line is still far off because there's ways to improve it, ways to get better at it. And sometimes what we see as the finish line is really just the starting point, the beginning of being successful at it. But then you've got the other group who they'll respond by saying, "We don't really have passions. We don't really have things that we like to do that we can make into a career." Now, that's not to say that they haven't, or I'm not saying that they're using that as an excuse. But the truth be told, for them who say that they have no passions, have they really tried everything? Now, this is a question with an obvious answer because no one has tried everything. Sometimes people that don't have passions, it isn't because they don't find anything interesting or that there isn't anything out there that they wouldn't have a passion for, but more along the lines of they haven't found it yet. But to find it, if any of you that are watching this video and listening are in this situation where we're like, well, we just don't have anything we like that we feel like we would have a future in, well, have you what have that may be the case with all the things you've explored, all the things you've given a shot and have tried out. But what about all the things you haven't yet? Now, this is a very difficult thing to consider because when it comes to trying these new things or expanding your box or thinking outside the box, it takes you outside of your comfort zone to consider new things, to try new things that you might find interesting later on. It's not an easy thing to do. The ballroom dance thing that I like to do was the same for me back in my high school years. Before I ever did it, like I said in that video, it was brought up to me that I should give it a shot. And at first I was like, no. And even when I was finally talked into it, the whole idea made me uncomfortable. It really did. But when I gave it a shot, it changed me. There came a new desire. I enjoyed it. And over time, it turned into a passion. I love it. It's the only kind of dance that I'm any good at. I would never dare to say I am a professional at it. Whoa, that would be way too extreme. I would never say such a thing. But I do have a desire to continue on with it, to get better and better, and hopefully turn it into a career, which is not an easy thing. The road's going to be long on that one, but I'm willing to travel down that road all the same. It may be my final goal I ever accomplish if I accomplish it, but I'm going to work at it. I do not know what's going to be in the future for me, but it's one of the things I want to accomplish. Also, when it comes to my story writing, I want to become an author. I'm putting forth the effort. I'm sitting down and typing. And as far as YouTube goes, well, I have a passion for making videos. Case in point, you're listening to one right now. I don't expect to ever be a big YouTuber or a famous one or anything of that sort, but it's still a passion of mine. I love doing it. So thereby, I am doing it. I've learned that if I want to accomplish anything, I can't just have the passion and leave it at that. I actually have to roll up my sleeves and do the work and get the work done. And then afterward, there's the accomplishment. You just taken one step closer. I've taken one step closer to the finish line. And the same goes for all of you as well. You may find out to find your passion, you may have to step outside your comfort zone. You may have to consider doing things that might even make you nervous. such as going out there and dancing if you're not a dancer, or doing activities that you never thought you'd do. That you like, go outside, try new things. That's that's a there's a story. There's the book. There's a book that is very famous that all of you, even if you've never read it or seen the movie adaptation, or just ever really talked about. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of The Hobbit by now, which is a prequel to the Lord of the Rings series. Now, a lot of people don't like the movies as much as the Lord of the Rings movies, which is understandable. They changed up an awful lot. Having that said, I do favor the book of The Hobbit over the Lord of the Rings series because it's a book I can relate to a lot closer than I can the Lord of the Rings series itself. Why? Well, to understand that, you gotta realize Bilbo was a hobbit. There's something about hobbits that is more expressed in the books than it is even the movies, and that is they are a very homesick people. They do not like leaving their house for very long. They don't like traveling away from their homes for very long. Home is where they love to be. They don't like going on adventures. They don't like traveling far away or anything like of the sort. They are pretty much an immovable people. But then you got a wizard who shows up, who shows up with 13 dwarves, and through the talking about their quest, where they want to go, they're going to travel long and far. And somehow, despite how uncomfortable Bilbo was, he had something move in him to where he wanted to join them. He went on the adventure with them, and many times he felt unease. Many times he felt uncomfortable. He was frightened throughout the whole journey, and many times he wished he was back in his home. But once he reached that finish line, they reached their destination, he was a changed hobbit to where he became more daring. He was willing to do things at that point that he was not willing to do at the time that they set off on their journey. Then, after everything's said and done, he went on the long road back home. And once he reached home, he was glad to be home. He missed his home, but he was still a changed hobbit because he had a love for adventures, a love for excitement, a love and a passion that wasn't there before. And what did he have to do to make that accomplishment? He had to set foot outside his comfort zone. And the same has to go with all of us. Yes, I get it. The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, fictional stories, and with fictional races and characters. But the meanings and the lessons are true all the same. They teach that there's hope even in the most hopeless of situations. And as I've already pointed out in The Hobbit, sometimes to have the passions awaken inside you and to learn what maybe you are meant to do in life, you have to set foot outside your comfort zone. Bilbo did that, and he realized what his purpose is in life. I have set foot outside my comfort zone many times. Some of the things that I tried turned out weren't my thing. Other things I tried are close to my heart. And I want to make a career out of every single one of them. The same has to go with all of you. If you don't have a passion for anything, or if you don't feel like you've found anything you're meant to do just yet, don't give up your search. And not only don't give up your search, step outside your comfort zone. And keep in mind, even when you do that, even when you find that there are things you do have a love for that you didn't have beforehand, that the road to making these accomplishments is going to be long. The road isn't going to be easy. Now, just because it's going to be a long, difficult road doesn't mean it's going to be impossible. In fact, I believe the difficulties will help shape you into who you're supposed to be when you finally reach that finish line. And you'll find out that because of those difficulties, you're far stronger, or will be far stronger than you are now or then, depending on how you look at it. I've been at my goals for years now. I've been taking one step after another, getting closer and closer. The finish line still ways away, but I don't want to stop traveling down this road. Even though I haven't reached the finish line and I've hit many difficulties, still hitting them now, I am truly happy pursuing these goals. And I believe when you find the goals you want to obtain, to accomplish in life, you'll be happy too, traveling down that road. Even when you hit the difficulties, oh yes, you'll feel stress. There may be times you want to give up. But if you keep going, happiness is accompanied with it, and you tend to see your true strength. So, expand your vision. Consider the things that you haven't tried yet. Right now, you may say, oh, I would never do those things. Well, that's why I said about ballroom dancing. Look, here we are. When I was in school, English, grammar, all those things, very difficult. I found it very boring. I have a love for writing now. You never know what happened, what may change when you explore the things that you may think ahead of time that you won't like, or you have already decided that you don't like. And when you do try these things, I wish you the best of luck. Because one thing, I hope making this video proves what I'm about to say. But I wish for everybody to accomplish their goals. For every decent person who wants to have a decent life and a great future, not only for themselves, but for their families as well. I wish for all of you to have amazing goals that are linked to things you love, and it is my hope that you accomplish these goals. Anyways, my name is Statton. Like, share, and subscribe. Remember that you are not alone, and you all have yourselves a wonderful day.